This reoccurring dream I seem to have every night, that all of a sudden I'm standing under a spotlight and I can see the first 3 rows and they are not quite impressed with my first act. Yeah, this has got like way more strange than the dream I had last night. I was a professional something just like a past life. Tonight the crowd seems anxious for action. I've got nothing that'll meet their satisfaction, and I'm terrified. I want to break down and just ask them for the lines to my own play, but I'm afraid they would just laugh. Then a standing ovation towards the exit would ensue as I choke on my attempts to work this empty room. Those that stuck around felt no choice but sympathy, as if they feel a pride cause I refuse to quit. Simply look for an exit, but the crowd has not left yet. Face built for radio, grabs the mic, check, is this thing on? The feedback says the next step, say something important, come on, they need that freshness. All things considered, they've been rather patient. It's borderline rude for you to keep them waiting, stating bated breath tends frustrating, so afraid there's nothing left to mend, upgrading to pretend this is me all along. I'm fading, the song I meant to sing now seems so degrading, so a long drawn pause stands in its stead as my best song sung stays stuck in my head, and I'm waiting, hoping they will catch what was said. Realizing it's a dream, I decide to stay in bed. That's what makes me special. You've always been you, and that's what makes you special too. We're a C+, average at best. Collectively, it seems we're nothing meant to impress. This doesn't mean that you're not special, don't fret. This only means you're only as special as the next. The acceptance of this has a bipolar effect. Equal decreasing in value, increasing the peer respect. Shallow talent pool, so easy to see that less is more in most cases. In case you forget, there's an abundance of people to remind you, and yet 7 billion centers of the universe, I'd bet not one of them would admit they would never survive if the world ended tomorrow, leaving the strongest alive to be extras in a movie replaced by CGI. This story's not about them, they are just a device to prove that some of us are born to work the lights. The actors never know how much control we hold, and rightfully so. Let them believe it's their scene, but the crowd will not applaud if they don't see the fucking thing. With 7.6 billion people, all competing for the same depleting resources, all believing that there is no threshold, and all believing that they are all special. It's so nice to know that we are all special, so nice to know that we are all exceptional, so nice to know that I'm not the only one. It's so nice to know that I'm not the only one. It's so nice to know that we are all special. It's so nice to know that we are all exceptional, so nice to know that I'm not the only one. It's so nice to know that I'm not the only one. And who put such a high value on to being special? Decided everything is paramount to be successful. Invited only those they thought of as equals, and then found themselves alone at a party with all their friends. Maestro, strike up the crickets and the night ends. Light bulbs flicker, doors locked, there's a slight tendency for me and the rest of the people I meet to agree we're the exception, the rest perception deceit. If the tree hits the ground and silence the leaves, we'll write a letter to others that surround it that reads, pass it along to someone who they think can hang. Tell them to open up, one word, ... The heat I pour time, more fit for your time. Soar line between human being and the fourth kind. A dream they chose me to dissect for sport. I'm as average as the next, except the short-sighted. Fact, I can rap, rather simply contort rhymes, capture little fragmented opinions, and of course find a way for that tree-written letter to make it a household name. It doesn't make me better, so let up a little bit on yourself, or go get the motivation needed to be average, cause it gets tough when the median is set by people who are fed up with being called average. They've had it though, haven't said such. With 7.6 billion people, all competing for the same depleting resources, all believing that there is no threshold, and all believing that we are all special. So nice to know that we are all special, so nice to know that we are all exceptional, so nice to know that I'm not the only one. It's so nice to know that I'm not the only one. It's so nice to know that we are all special. It's so nice to know that we are all exceptional, so nice to know that I'm not the only one. It's so nice to know that I'm not the only one. this life there are customers and employees. Customers get the benefit of being naive, never aware they're constantly being sold shit, distracted by the merchandise they only want to hold. They identify with the brands and fancy advertisements, used to the fact personality on consignment. All is fine inside the world, no depth exists for them to find. It's all at face value and they don't really seem to mind. Ignorance is bliss, but it's still ignorance. While they buy into the cost of obliviousness, it may seem that they're getting out ahead, lest we forget cost comes back in the end. When it's time to check out, they spend what they're worth. No substance been purchased, no purpose to their birth. And I'm sorry, as far as options, that seems worse than the burden that becomes of us spending that time in work. Excuse me, I was hoping I could get some help. Could you include me? Make me feel better about myself, renew me, or at least point me to the shelf that leads me to the point that I don't have to ask for help. Excuse me, I was hoping I could get some help. Could you include me? Make me feel better about myself, renew me, or at least point me to the shelf that leads me to the point that I don't have to ask for help. We're all burdened with the blessing of others, and all burdened with the blessing of others, and all burdened with the blessing of others. It's in employing ourselves that ourselves are uncovered. Then all burdened with the blessing of others, and all burdened with the blessing of others, and all burdened with the blessing of others. It's in employing ourselves that ourselves are uncovered. Then in this life there are customers and employees. Employees are the people with the customers and their needs. They're too aware of the truth of operations. The magic in the fabric is as magic as a facelift with patience. They go to work every single day cause they know that if they don't then this whole shit would break up. And those displays are just daily labor. They are no longer fazed by the glamour, the escape, the satisfaction. Knowing that shirt and how it fits you is a piece of plastic in a box we had to dig through. We're getting tired of having to pick up after you, but on the day we retire we'll know what satisfaction was. A hard day's work and a paycheck to match it, cause these two hands, my back, all that I have to trust. At the end of the day, I hope what I'm supplying is worth the hype and the time that you took to buy it. Hello? I was hoping I could get some help. Could you include me? Make me feel better about myself, renew me, or at least point me to the shelf that leads me to the point that I don't have to ask for help. Excuse me, I was hoping I could get some help. Could you include me? Make me feel better about myself, renew me, or at least point me to the shelf that leads me to the point that I don't have to ask for help. We're all burdened with the blessing of others, and all burdened with the blessing of others, and all burdened with the blessing of others. It's in employing ourselves that ourselves are uncovered. Then all burdened with the blessing of others, and all burdened with the blessing of others, and all burdened with the blessing of others. It's in employing ourselves that ourselves are uncovered. Then we're all burdened with the blessing of others, and all burdened with the blessing of others, and all burdened with the blessing of others. It's in employing ourselves that ourselves are uncovered. Then a single word, sometimes that's all we seem to need to calm the nerves. A validation that someone else can see. What is observed is so dependent on its tangibility, just deserved and so substandard, like language we speak rely on skin. This time it's getting thin, we tend to blend our mixed emotions, not knowing what it is that makes us tick. You never know how compliments can stick. Pass the judgment laps, and thus is ill-equipped to play. Follow the leader in either position, pick to drift becomes the option. It's nice to know that this is a fix and ticket cost for what I've lost and what I missed. Opportunity to prove to thee I'm worthy of this gift of words. And a solitary term I can't define. It's the one that makes me wonder if everything that is mine is articulated space or a concept of the mind based in a matrix of five senses. I'm trying to make the best of this obscurity, vague position blind. What you label maturity, insist it is my climb, my word. Reason I'm pulled up by the belt, no matter how you define it or pronounce it, simply self. And it's as simple as syntax that bends back control. The best we can do to express or compose or sum up the feeling we feel when we fold. It's the reason we search for the words we are told. It's as simple as syntax that bends back control. The best we can do to express or compose or sum up the feeling we feel when we fold. It's the reason we search for the words we are told. For the words we are told. And we trust in words of encouragement. You know the cliches, we seek them, fiend them, need those words these days. My people, these are your people. Keep faith in people. Redundancy to make the point and tease play that we're all we got, so it's not in our interest to let them call the shots, the plot for our inventions. We're building a bridge to burn it down and laugh at each other's misfortunes. Enough effort to pass, but cast is a net. We're of that way of life at last. We're forced to work together. individual. Those who get the shaft, maximus intention makes suspension of the class a necessity. Get the best of the rest of humanity insensibly. Rest is left for the propensity of tangling up that web, preventing the freedom we were so sure we'd get eventually. Since the means to make our dreams come true are relentlessly misused, confused to make friend and an enemy. I choose shoulder to shoulder, one entity. Send the best I can. I have the words and what they meant to me. It's as simple as syntax that bends back control. The best we can do to express or compose or sum up the feeling we feel when we fold. It's the reason we search for the words we are told. Simple as syntax that bends back control. The best we can do to express or compose or sum up the feeling we feel when we fold. It's the reason we search for the words we are told. For the words we are told. For the words we are told. Control the best we can do to express or compose or sum up the feeling we feel when we fold. It's the reason we search for the words we are told. It's as simple as syntax that bends back control. The best we can do to express or compose or sum up the feeling we feel when we fold. It's the reason we search for the words we are told. And for the words we are told. For the words we are told. Consequence for a home that I've got to build. The doctor bill is nothing compared to what I owe the hospital. Cause I'm not steady with hammers, bang them till I've got my fill. Payback's a motherfucker, I'm out to stop that nail from serving a purpose other than building my structure. So I had to come down hard on that motherfucker, bang him into place. Whoops, another finger breaks the nail. Callously laughs and slowly bounces away. Not to be outsmarted by a faultiness in tools. I don't fault my precision, I learned in school to measure once, cut twice. Placate the rules as I hold my hand in agony. I know that I've been fooled by my hastiness in my apprenticeship-like behavior. I grab another nail in an attempt to save the little face that I have left, and more over my home as I steady up the hammer just to break another bone. It goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes. And it goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes. Phase 2, lay the floor. Yeah, I do the second. Yep. It didn't work before and you would think I'd learned my lesson. Nope. But accepting that I am not really a carpenter, I decide to replace efficiency with harder work. The art of the half-assed, wholehearted martyrdom. Dying for a home that I have built from the start of about 20 minutes now. And I wonder that why not a house exists before me. The floor seems so much harder now. I'm using drills and saving my fingers, learning from my mistakes and getting much less injured. Beginner faults replaced, I'll have it built by winter. But alas, to find my castle looks nothing like the picture. So back into my ever-growing bag of tools. Trying not to start this from scratch has kinda proved a little more difficult than simply drawing blueprints. Trying to work an angle but strangled by my obtuseness. It goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes. And it goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes brick by brick and hammer and nail. It goes. I took that hole, yelled into it, it yelled back. I realized I have more holes than Stanley Elnats. Looking for a treasure that never really existed. I realized pleasures derive from persistence. Initiative takes more than practical magic. That feeling after it happens, can't get it back. But imagine if I could actually fathom. It's the hurt that establishes what I'm worth, and the tragic part is curbing my bad habits. Discern everything I build will burn, and it's the act of letting go that makes me actually learn. And in turn, the ash makes the fertile ground firm to grow me a new path as I walk to earn my
right to run. No sun will set on my life, but fun ain't worth it yet. Bet when that comes, I will not forget the pleasure of putting my path starts with the first step. Left, right, left, right, left.
I hate to say it, but I think it's gonna be okay. I hate to say it, but I think it's gonna be okay. I hate to say it, but I think it's gonna be okay. I hate to say it, but I think it's gonna be okay. And there are so many different ways I don't wanna live. I don't wanna be the kind of guy you're forced to forgive. That's why these tired eyes precipitate like a sieve. And boys, don't cry, we take that shit to the chin. Find insanity by repeating mistakes and not seeing a difference. Succeeding and catching breaks. Advice is a form of nostalgia. Take it from curtain feed. Paint over the ugly parts, pass it to me. Please, I need a little bit of childhood to come back. A little bit of the old days. For some, that's enough. I don't wanna live there, it's nice to visit. Linger long enough to actually have forgiveness. It's all a cycle, Chancey Gardner said. Being there is more than a place inside your head. Seeing bare-boned and naked the self, I accept that. The walk of 1,000 miles starts with the first setback. I hate to say it, but I think it's gonna be okay. I hate to say it, but I think it's gonna be okay. Say it, but I think it's gonna be okay. I hate to say it, but I think it's gonna be okay. But what do I know? I've never been oppressed. I've never been a victim or number one suspect. My struggle is a relative battle with my identity. A worry for those left behind, I envy those ahead of me. Struggle serves as a function for the user, a summing up of everything placed in place to prove the merit and character of the subject in question. In this case, it's me. I'm open to suggestions. Let's then look at the way we gather facts, either read from a book or obtained from a class. That's both definitions of the word. So when asked if I'm certified and what credentials I have, I reply, not much, but I'm me enough to pass at least when my last breath seeps from my gasp. Tongue will be in cheek and I'll secretly laugh at the times I've wasted trying to get time back.
I'm not necessarily saying that what I'm telling you holds no merit. All I'm saying is that there's very little that actually qualifies me to give advice. I mean, I'm really just going off of personal experience here, and what it boils down to is a mixture of actually wanting to help, narcissistic enough to think you actually care what I have to say.
And my certificate's the fact that I'm opinionated. What makes you listeners is the fact that you're glad you waited. What makes me smart is the fact that I graduated. What gives me heart is the fact that I had to make it. It's taken longer than expected, but perfection is a troublesome goal when you're so damn misdirected. Cover exposed, I'm gifted by the list of lessons. No wonder I chose a profession which I can address them one by one, present them as my struggle. It's so much fun to add piece to puzzle of what makes an Elliot. Lessons are not subtle, it makes my belly ache, keeps me at a constant stumble. Though it's not as scary as getting shot, it's the most that I can do, the best that I've got. It's all apologies presented to you. It's your call, your decision, whether or not it's the truth.
I don't know, man. Honestly, I'm just trying to get this down myself. So far, this is the best I've come up with. It's not perfect, and I know it will never be perfect, but honestly, I'm okay with that.
I've had a lot of
time to try to figure this out, and out of mind my sight was privy to doubt concerningly. Fine with position to mount in due time, my time is inherently now. So if I look too close, I fear that I'll find that this was mostly a waste of my time, and I can't keep focused. Suspect tried to not seem hopeless, hope this is mine. So fucking be it conceited, being the reason that we snuff the defeated. I need it, but human beings need breathing, and being human needs reason, and seeing fluent is teasing, the very movement is leaving. Scary feeling revealing, I look up at the ceiling and I go nuts cause it's peeling. Feel the rush of a million men all dressed up to be children who fill their guts as they pillage and look like if it's tough then it's real, but it's the fluff that appeals. So just trust what you feel, give it up if it steals. Be abrupt at the keel, always look up as you steer. Don't trust luck if it's fear, it's all a part of it. Nothing is fair, I'll take a piece of every day. Arrange how my mental state has changed. Brain has room for what it contains, strange. Think of how behavioral chains constrain me from framing the caption of the day. Got the same sort of stable beat, thinking of a name for a name. Scribble babble from the shadow of my brain. It's saying we put too much value on chump change. It's all what kind of sport you are and how you play that game. What made us substance, beauty, humanity, honor, problems, progress, vanity, squander, community, culture, family, departure. And with style and talent we candidly conquer. Substance, beauty, humanity, honor, problems, progress, vanity, squander, community, culture, family, departure. Like inhale, exhale, we candidly conquer. Inhale this breath, expecting oxygen, get a third the acceptance rest. Toxins approximate the objects, examine what's lost in breath that I've taken. Now my lungs have been accosted. Loss is a process and not being a prospect for cancer research. I'm so fucking exhausted. This simple action took more effort than expected. I try to take it in, my lungs collapse, I reject it. Slow down, this is a step towards acceptance. The air is thick, I'm sick and feeling septic. Step with my checklist, shit that's been neglected. This deep wheeze impedes me to breathe free infection. Speed, speech, weak knees, breathe, find my essence. Taking in polluted air is something that connects us. It brings us together, inhaling this shitty weather. It'd be better if we fixed it, but we're not that clever. Asking favors of Mother Nature. I never met her, I formulated my complaints in neatly written letters, and she wrote me back, said best to get a sweater. This world is getting colder and the blood is getting redder. I told her that this cold had made me feel so weak. She told me she's holding a similar disease, slowly growing closer to her inevitable defeat. An infection in her left lung, she called it human beings. What made us substance, beauty, humanity, honor, problems, progress, vanity, squander, community, culture, family, departure. And with style and talent we candidly conquer. Substance, beauty, humanity, honor, problems, progress, vanity, squander, community, culture, family, departure. Like inhale, exhale, we candidly conquer.
slip, fall, maybe break an arm. You know nothing but the fact that you're in pain and alarmed. You go to see a doctor, he fixes you when you're on your merry way. That very day like nothing is wrong. There is no way in hell you could have fixed it by yourself. You have health insurance, so you're happy for the help. Trust that the doc knows what's best for the future. When it breaks, he resets it. When it splits, there's a suture. Who could blame you for giving up on your health care? It's your safety, you need it, but they treat it like welfare. Scenario B, see a man snatch a purse. He runs down the street but passes by you first. In his free hand, you notice he's holding a knife. You think it's only money and I value my life, but being a good citizen, you figure that the least you could do is get out your phone, call up the police. It's a nice neighborhood, the cops are on the scene, in time to bust the villain and promptly restore peace. Trust that the officer knows right from wrong, giving up a little freedom, thinking it's how it belongs. And all I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple. Great space between the gray space we built. And all I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple. Gray space between the great space we built. Scenario C, you're feeling a bit under the weather. Not quite sick, but thinking safe is always better. So the PhD relates these symptoms as a freeway need for 3 a day. Implements the doctor's greed that pushes these prescriptions. The cost of the processing equipment. Next thing you know, you're crazy as Sally Fields. And you trust that the pros know best how to heal when left to the hands of professionals who yield your agency over an attempt to make appeal. Scenario D, you are standing on a street, minding your own business, assuming you are free to mind your own business, believe what you believe. The owner of this business doesn't need to agree. He owns where you live, this makes you property. Plus he's got the cops to come and stop and seize. Resist, pistols whipped, you're on your knees. All of this for the sake of keeping the peace. A thin line connecting protection to oppression. When left to those who know best, it's best to just accept it. And all I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple. Great space between the gray space we built. And all I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple. Gray space between the great space we built. We're so quick to assume others know what's best for us, like we wrote that tune but don't sing our own chorus. It's a scary prospect, caring for community. Saying they should have known better is not immunity. So quick to blame the ominous vague them, but we're all in this together, so we better make amends. If you want something done right, do it yourself. They said that they knew better, we could really use their help. That simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple. Gray space between the great space we've built. And all I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple still. All I'm saying is it's not that simple. Gray space between the great space we've built. Honey, I'm looking over last month's statements, and I gotta say, concerns are raising. I've been making a few calculations on our spending versus our savings taken. Both our income, attention must be paid. We need to rethink the word need, please believe me. I also enjoy that new TV, but you gotta see, it's not a matter of greed. We need to see eye to eye, we need to agree that the kids are getting older and soon we'll need degrees, not just BAs, masters, that shit ain't cheap. Housing, tuition, books, gas, and hell, I'm not sure I can get a loan. I'm barely paying off mine. Honey, her husband interrupted unexpectedly. I've got a plan, subprime, tap that home equity. I saw it on TV, Greenspan said trust. You're sitting on a gold mine called the Bank of Us. And now they're out of habit. because it's on sale.
At least we own the house. Well, the bank does now. It wasn't a fixed rate, but hell, no money down. Ain't bad when the dragon chase pace breaks. How should we celebrate? I know, a night out on the town. Just you, me, the kids, lobsters all around. Not a second to give, even a second of doubt that this all will turn exactly how it should. Out of pocket comes the reality of check bank accounts. Not at the dinner table, this is celebration. We've been working for our money that deserves a paid vacation. Eat your lobster, baby, don't waste it. The days of frustration and pain have been escaped. It's the land of milk and honey and money for nothing payment. Standard of living double with no increase in wages. Came home to find a note on the door that read EVICTION. And now they're out of habit, and now their plans fail, and now they have to have it because it's on sale.
His mother calls her son in for dinner. Notices he's missing his coat, though he knows it's winter. Embarrassed, she allowed him into the yard to play. She decided to remember that she told him to behave. Billy sang, he never had a coat that he could claim. Still the saying goes, mother knows best to facilitate her own renderings. Maybe she was remembering everything as it was, categorizing a memory when in truth it was never the actual event she was recalling. Rather how her memory had presented information stored that turns into present tense. So according to her, the situation represents yet another occurrence of Billy being dishonest.
Boy, get your ass inside.
But mom, I promise, but nothing.
It's up straight to bed. How dare you defy me? I know what I said.
And it's a picture of a picture, memory of memory, comprises your existence and accounts for everything. Identity is a mindset subject. I'm choosing to remember this like I get no second chances. But to romance this past, though it never happened, I won't be damned if I'm subject to my retention. I can reinvent it, I leave out every single part that is hard to mention. He hears his mother call him in for dinner. Surprised, she let him go out dressed like this in winter. It was cold and she was right, and there was some regret. It didn't need to be said that mother knows best. Now she looks pissed, as if he had just dismissed a direct order. In short, the message had been mixed. Her words verse his learns, hers wins. In turn, this gives him further hits. Now his punishment, subject to his mother's disposition. She said that he looked fine when they were standing in the kitchen. Picture of a picture, never really being anything. Billy was just a kid, but insisted that what was said to me was mere reflection of life lived in the past tense. The only way to catch it is to be there when it happens. Surprised by his mother's reaction, life slides by. Remember why it's so hard to capture. It's a picture of a picture, memory of memory, comprises your existence and accounts for everything. Identity is a mindset subject. I'm choosing to remember this like I get no second chances. But to romance this past, though it never happened, I won't be damned if I'm subject to my retention. I can reinvent it, I leave out every single part that is hard to mention.
It's a picture of a picture, memory of memory, comprises your existence and accounts for everything. Identity is a mindset subject. I'm choosing to remember this like I get no second chances. But to romance this past, though it never happened, I won't be damned if I'm subject to my retention. I can reinvent it, I leave out every single part that is hard to mention.
giving words of wisdom.
Those words were abysmal. His bright future, that home couldn't suit ya. Always keeping him warm, never being worn. And she remembers her own memory. He remembers all she was remembering. She remembers a bittersweet ending. He remembers all he can pretend is a picture of a picture. Memory of memory comprises your existence and accounts for everything. Identity is a mindset subject. I'm choosing to remember this like I get no second chances, but to romance this past though it never happened. I won't be damned if I'm subject to my retention. I can reinvent it. I leave out every single part that is hard to mention.
It takes a certain type of knuckle dusting, cleared him from the sucker punching substance out the picture with elixirs of unjust obstructing, sucking down liquor of a picture perfect trust of nothing, serving me in bottles, but I'm reckless so I swallow, stuffing pockets of tomorrow in today. We live it up to cut the ties to anything that takes a second guess. Confess to just bring me a step closer to accepting what the bounce infected records don't spin or get broken for the record. Set it straight, a checkup date for all of my influences that move me to pursue the path they chose and improve it. Evolution is a product, I'm a product of this music. Fluid in my lungs is a tribute to the truest education I've escaped, making my institutions work for me, worth a fee, never told to do it to keep cheap talk, embarrassed compared to eunuchs that look at us like we're homeless. We don't have to prove it, it's the risk that makes this life worth living, and this is fucking it, so tonight we're all forgiven. Sit back, exist inside of this rhythm, cause the gist of this is your happiness is our privilege. Deliver us from evil, cause evil is just a myth. Believe it or not, it's all intention, so we give the best to you, because you're worth it. Like we strip the awkward conversation relating to you as if we've known each other for years. We're family, bring it in, beholden into your peers and never minding of skin.
To the love fan, yeah, and we got that Eliquate fan. You know we down with that C fan. You know we down with old black fan. And you gotta respect the sleeve stack man, and the people all over the map, man. Don't be a stick in the mud. This is hip and wine music. Tap my foot to the rhythm so I can kick in time to it. People think it's so cool and try to date cute because it's too complex, like a heart-shaped Rubik. Still, there's other visions, so I'm tugging on the line like the far side. I can't keep running out of time like the far ride. I keep it on the rise and always give props to the DJ, right? And give you what you want like the UPS guy. Love a brown skin lady like that cool from Bed-Stuy. I get high, proceed to commence my feeling my ditty and had no pity when my penny died. I found a pencil, no more stress from my mental. Now I can feel the headphones press into my temple, so I kneel and I step inside. Close my eyes, I'm doing the electric slide. Two-step to my left and skip through my Louisville. Slug out the park, man, I'm hot to death. Do a part, man, it's hella hard not to stress. And the losses count double like a boxer's rep. But effects that got causes and contracts got clauses. Like cats and 4 tracks got pauses. It's a fact, y'all, like love is back. I mean it so much, I had to put a dub on that. You know, the west side, what they doing it right. I keep the party on going tonight. North side, where it's pure outside. I wanna hear